Guys, it's Bobby, and I'm back with Jessica. This time she's wearing a little bit less clothing, and thankfully for all of us, I'm still wearing all of my clothing because we're not going to go in that direction. But so she's here, ready to give some sex advice, and I'm here to reveal a system, because advice is great, but it's all about a system and knowing the specific techniques and tricks that are going to make her orgasm and make you the best lover of her life. That's what we want. We don't want to be like an okay lover or just, decent. We want you to be
the best.
The best. Exactly. So, how did I come up with this system and what is it? Okay, guys, I was, as I said, really, really bad in bed. I was terrible, having all the major problems, not lasting long enough, not getting hard when the time is right, and most importantly, not giving her orgasms. And you know that this is stuff that's really, really bad. So after a lot of experimentation, a lot of humiliation and kind of hurt ego and a lot of really bad stuff going down where I felt like I was a small little boy instead of a real man, I put everything that I learned together in a very easy to follow format so that anyone can just absorb the DVDs, internalize the information because it's all streamlined, and just turn into a sex god rock star in bed. She beat me to it. All right, guys, this is the point. So, what you're going to get with this system is the ability to give her repeat orgasms, multiple orgasms, in a term that is actually pretty cool, that we're patenting under the name of overwhelming orgasms, because these are orgasms that are really overwhelming. Other guys can't give girls these kind of orgasms. It's with this system. That's the point here. So, what you're going to get is the ability to give her orgasms to last as long as you want. You're not going to be coming quickly anymore. You're going to be able to get hard when you want. You're going to learn the right positions. You're going to learn, more importantly, you're going to learn the emotional stuff, what to say, when to be a bad boy, when to be romantic. You're going to learn a total system that has 4 variables, and you just plug them in and go, and you're ready to go rock star in bed. Okay, so I'm going to stop hyping it up. We're going to get right into the system itself now. You ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. The first element of the 4-component system is presence. And presence is a bunch of different things, but we're going to get into the real key points, what you really need to know and internalize to make it automatic. The first thing is that it's being in the moment, okay? If I'm thinking about a sports game or about work, and she's thinking about, hey, is that dress on sale? It's really not going to be good sex, because good sex, you're not thinking about anything. And I know this sounds contrary to sexual improvement, that with sexual improvement you have to think about what you're doing. But I'm going to give you an implementation program so that a certain percent of the time you're actually working on your skills, and the rest of the time you're automatically putting them to use and just going crazy with animal desire and primal instinct. So this first part is no tension, and the way that you want to have no tension is, first of all, by being in the moment. When you're not working on your sexual skills, you want to make sure that you're relaxed and you're in the moment. And the way that you can do that is one of the main ways is try and take the weight off of your body. Like if you're having sex missionary style and you have your weight on your hands, you're going to feel a little bit more tense, because anytime that your arms are supporting a part of your body, like there's a natural instinct to kind of like clench up and feel your muscles. And that's one of the problems that creates, coming too fast and not being able to maintain an erection. So one of the main parts here is try and take the body weight out of the equation, then you'll be more in the moment. So get the weight off of your arms, get the weight off of, if you want, you can put your arms like under her if it's missionary position or flat on the bed, but trying not to support yourself, because when you're supporting yourself, you get a little bit tense. Yeah. Another thing about being in the moment, and again, it's about being in the moment for the guy and the girl, because if she's not in the moment and she's thinking about other stuff, she's not going to have an orgasm. So another thing about presence is that you're not thinking about your penis or performance. When you start thinking about your penis, and there's a time to think about your penis and a time to think about your performance, but it's not while you're having sex. When you're having sex, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on, half the time you're working on sexual improvement until you get up to speed, and the other half of the time you're just going, animal style. But you don't want to be thinking about your penis or your performance, because what that does is it makes you nervous and it makes you lose your erection and come too quickly. And we're going to go through a really important breathing drill, which once you get this down, you're going to be able to last literally as long as you want. It kind of puts everything together for you. But the main thing about presence really is that sex is a in-the-moment experience, okay? It's something that you should not be thinking during it. So when you're not thinking about it, you're really not thinking about it. When you're working on it, you're working on it, but you want to be using primal instincts and desire. Okay. And just talk a little bit about like what happens if a guy's like thinking too much, or if you're not in the moment.
If I'm not in the mood for sex?
Like in the moment during the actual sex. Like if you're like, if a guy's having sex with you and you guys are having sex and he's not good and you guys are both like unfocused.
It's like it's no good. It just, it ends badly, or it ends with the limp dick, or it just really, really sucks and we're both in bad moods. I don't get off, he doesn't get off. It's just no good, and it just puts stress on the relationship.
That's the main thing, that women don't have orgasms if they're not in the sexual vibe.
You have to be in the vibe.
You have to be in the sexual vibe. So we're going to go through and we'll do a breathing drill towards the end, come back to this and talk about, you know, the stamina problem and kind of the limp dick problem. Yeah. But I want to move into what is another huge, huge problem. And this is the thing that we talked about earlier, being a total pussy in bed, lack of authority. So the first variable in our system is presence. The second is authority. So before I even take it away with the different variables of authority, can you just recap for guys what being a man in bed is all about?
Being dominant and just knowing how to have sex and be comfortable with having sex and just lay it all out there, basically. Be manly.
Be manly, okay.
Manly.
So Jessica says being manly. I'm going to teach you exactly how to be manly. The first way of being manly is to recognize that women don't want another, they don't want a pussy in bed, but more importantly, they don't want another woman. If they're fantasizing about another woman, it's because they want another woman. If they want a man, they want a man. Exactly. So you got to realize that you should be leading the interaction. You need to be a man, get in there and lead the interaction. Okay? You can't be like asking about positions. That's a real big problem. The man has to be in charge. I shouldn't be like, hey, you know.
Hey, do you want to do a doggy style?
Doggy style.
And they're going to be like, okay, well, you just move her into any position you want her to be in, really. If you want her in that position, then do it. If she says, no, I don't want this position, just say, well, just do it. And if she says no, just put her back where she was, or try something different. Just don't ask. Don't ask ever. Can I put you here? Can you do this? Don't say that, because it makes girls uncomfortable.
What happens, and what Jessica's saying, is that when you start asking in letting the woman lead, it's fine to let her lead every now and then once the sex has been built up for a while, but when you don't show that you're a man and you don't lead, you become the sexual beta male. And being the beta male, you're always going to lose out to the alpha male, the guy who's in charge, the bad boy. And you can vibe being the bad boy, being authoritative, without actually being a bad boy at all. Like, I'm not a bad boy, but am I occasionally a bad boy in bed? Yeah, all the time.
Everyone wants a bad boy in bed.
Exactly, and not every time.
Not
but,
every time.
You know, you want a guy that's a man.
Yeah.
All right, so the takeaway here is the man is in charge, be a man, lead. And this should extend, this is an extra kind of little tip here, this should extend into your dating too, whether you're married, whether you're single and dating, or in a relationship. The man should always be leading, okay? You may think you're being nice, like, you know, can we try this position? Or, hey, do you feel like maybe having sex tonight after I take you out for a dinner? No. The man is in charge.
It just kind of happens.
When you're authoritative, it happens. That's the second variable, authoritative. Second part of being authoritative, and we talk about this in great detail in a lot of the programs, like these are such specific attributes of sexuality and of good sex that we put them together in their own programs, and this is an overview program, kind of a core training. But the next variable of being authoritative is talking dirty. And this is something that I really struggled with, because you're sitting there and you're like, do I want to say this? I don't know. I think she's going to get insulted, and I don't know. Like, I don't know if I really want to do this. But when you talk dirty, it creates, and there's entire programs on talking dirty, but when you talk dirty, it creates the sense in your girl that she is submissive to you. It's a very strong emotion that you're taking her, you're in charge, and you're the one that's leading the sexual interaction. So talking dirty is one of those things where when you do that,
It makes everything better.
Yeah, exactly. It immediately sets the precedent that, hey, I'm in charge here, and you know, you're gonna do what I, you know, what I'm suggesting and what I say. So it's not about, you know, being an asshole and being a jerk. It's about showing that you're a man.
Yeah.
And so talking dirty, like, you don't like need to jump in there and bust out with like any ridiculous lines right away. You can ease into it slowly. But if you're not talking in bed, you really have to start. And we get into this, don't worry, I'm gonna show you exactly how. But you need to be saying stuff like while you're having sex, like, hey baby, do you like when I fuck you? Like stuff like that.
No.
You know.
No, do you like that?
Okay, you can start a little easier. You can start a little easier, you know.
Call me daddy.
Alright, you might not want to start with call me daddy, but I think you're getting the idea here. That,
I like that. I don't know. It doesn't remind me of my dad.
No, okay.
It reminds me of like the male figure, like the dominant man.
The real man.
The man. The man. That's what you want.
Okay, so you can.
We just talk.
What's a good line that
I don't
like
know.
a beginner line that a guy could throw out? That's authoritative yet dirty. And this is
do you
only
like
in
how
the
I?
bedroom.
No.
This is only in the
Fuck
bedroom.
you harder. Fuck or
Perfect.
tell me you want me to. Tell me that you want me to fuck you.
Perfect. This is actually a good example.
Because it makes the guy harder. It makes him excited. He wants you. He wants to know that you want him to fuck me. You know.
Yeah, this is a great example. Yeah, no, that is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is a great
You know
example.
what I mean?
It's like you're having sex, you're fucking, and you can say to her while you're fucking, like, tell me how much you want me to fuck you, okay? And this question actually does a lot of things, because what it's doing is it's reaffirming in her mind that she wants you to fuck her, so it's actually increasing attraction because she's like, oh my god, I really do want this guy to have sex with me. And for you, it's getting you all excited and hot because it's making you know how much she wants you to fuck her. And it creates this attitude of like raw sexuality, not like two friends are having sex, like the real male-female dynamic, like, you know, a natural male-female dynamic. So that's a great starting line, and we get into all this in great detail, you know, as we go further, but a great starting line would be, tell me you want me to fuck you. And she's going to say, I want you to fuck me.
Really bad.
You know, it's not, you're not going to be met by silence.
She's not gonna be like, no. She's gonna be like, yes, I really want it. And then you both are gonna be like, fucking.
Yeah, and exactly. Then all of a sudden, you're no longer
Then
a
you're
pussy,
excited
and you're fucking, and you're
a
pumped
man.
up.
Exactly.
So make sure that when you say this, if she doesn't respond, don't worry, she's just a little shy. So say it again, and eventually she will get the hint that you want her to say it. So like if you say like, okay, you know, if you're like,
No, because some girls aren't verbal at all.
yeah, they're shy.
They're shy because they feel like
They don't wanna be
feel
slutty.
weird, or they don't want to say something wrong. That's what goes with guys. They don't want to say anything wrong. That's why people don't.
They don't want to fuck it up.
They don't wanna
The
fuck it up.
risk-free method.
But it's really, you should take risks because it makes everything better. I think.
Right. So like, okay, so say
It
the
makes
guy,
it way more hotter. I think. I don't. It's,
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
hot. It's hot.
For
It's
sure.
talks dirty.
so say the guy says like, okay, I want, you know, tell me how much, I want you to tell me how much you want to fuck me. And the girl doesn't say anything. He could definitely say that again, right?
Yeah, I would just keep saying it.
Exactly. And keep saying it until when?
Keep saying it until she says something, and if she doesn't say anything, she's a lame fuck.
But do you think she'll say something?
She should say something. All girls, if you keep repeating the question, she's gonna say something.
And there's no reason you're not going to, unless she says no, don't say that, you're not going to insult her. She's not going to.
No, that's not a bad. That's nothing bad at all. Like if you say, I don't know, what could be bad? What would you say to tell them if
Okay,
what
like
would
if
be
you're
something-
saying,
what's an example that you would not say to
like
someone?
if you're saying, okay, I want to be really dominant with you and I want to tie you up with chains and whips and do all these S&M crazy fantasies, all right, that's something you might not want to say. But saying, do you like when I fuck you? Very basic, and you can keep saying it until
And then
she responds.
she says, yes, I want you to fuck me. And then
Yeah.
the conversation just kind of keeps flowing. It just kind of keeps going. You know, just like, if you want me to fuck, yes, I want you to fuck me. How do you like when I fuck you? Does it feel good? Do you want it deeper? Do you want it harder? Do you want to just keep flowing with it, really? It's just like it's like a conversation, but it's sexual. It's not like, do you want me to fuck you? Like, do you like that? Like, I don't know. Like, it's
So-
it's like a conversation, it just flows.
You brought up a good point. How should the guy say this? Like with
Yeah.
authority or casually, or how
You
should
can say, do you want me, do you like when I fuck you? Like, I can't be a man. I can't, You just say, you kind of like have it with that look, I don't know, guys, this is like a weird thing. Just have that like look in your eye, like that serious like.
Like you believe it.
Yeah, and the girl's like, ooh, like they're all submissive and everything. They're like, yeah, I like when you fuck me. Do you want it harder? Do you want it, how do you want it? Do you want me to fuck you doggy style? Do you want me to slap your ass? Do you want me to like, I don't know.
Like you can do all that shit,
guys.
Guys, this is a real woman telling you can do this stuff, okay? We're gonna move into the next one.
It doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah,
because you're
not gonna get rejected. Don't worry. I was so scared.
She might be a little freaky, be like, yeah.
And I was so scared to do this stuff. So don't worry about it. You can try the basic stuff. You're not gonna get rejected risk-free. Let's move into the next variable, which is dispelling some of the myths about doggy style. You know, I have a really good friend, and I'm actually going to name him because I feel like kind of calling him out here, and his name is Ben. And I remember, Ben lived next to me, and he's definitely seen this program, and I've worked with him before, so he doesn't have this problem anymore. But I used to make fun of him a lot, just because his views were so skewed, and it took me making fun of him to get him to see the way of his errors. And I never make fun of anyone who wants to improve sexually because I was in the same spot. But he needed to know how ridiculous his viewpoint was. So Ben told me that doggy style is demeaning to women.
Okay. It's not, but it depends on the girl. Because I know a couple girls that think blowjobs are demeaning.
Let's talk about the average girl. The average girl. What does the average girl think about doggy style?
That actually has sex like once a week, right?
Once a week, twice a week.
If she's not in a relationship.
It doesn't matter. Normal average girl, does she think doggy style is demeaning or she likes it?
I like doggy style. I think it feels awesome.
Most girls, like when Men's Health went out and they surveyed the female population, they did all these big surveys, and Men's Health is constantly doing this, and Cosmopolitan is constantly doing this. All the major trade magazines that cater to women, guys, they all talk about the same thing. They all talk about sex.
Doggy style and cowgirl is the best ones.
Okay, she just came out and said it. Doggy style is the best. It's not like you can get away with doggy style. Women want doggy style.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking that women don't want doggy style and that it's not the right position for you to be utilizing, you gotta think again, my friend, because doggy style is really important for authority. So while we're on the second variable, authority, make sure that you understand and you change the mindset in your head that doggy style is bad. Doggy style is a great thing. Women love doggy style, okay? And don't ask, like, if you've never had sex doggy style with your girlfriend or your wife or whoever you're hooking up with, you're having sex with, don't ask. Once you're in missionary position, you
roll
just
her over.
Exactly.
Roll her over.
Just roll her over, okay?
Roll her over.
All right, and there's different variations of doggy style. We get into that in our Mastering Doggy Style program. But there's all sorts of different variations, which give her different kinds of orgasm and get really authoritative. That's another topic. But for now, just an overview, doggy style, good, simple, okay? Let's move into possession. Because possession is something that's... That's yours. Yeah? Well, why don't you talk about that?
It's my cock.
Talk about it. Just tell the guys what possession is.
I would say it's when you kind of own something. It's like, I don't know, I tell my boyfriend that's, it's my cock. I can do whatever I want with it. It's like, it's his pussy, so he can do whatever he wants. I don't know, I'm kind of a little bit of slutty, so I don't really know.
So
I would say, when my boyfriend says, it's your cock, you can do whatever you want, that's what's good. Like, it's like, if the girl's shy, and you say it's yours, do whatever you want, it's kind of like a lead up to like, if you guys haven't tried something, she should just jump on it and do it.
Let's flip it over to the male perspective.
Okay.
And so you're a guy, and you want to get into the subject of possession.
Yeah.
And possession is really authoritative because it lets her know that she is yours. And this is a very authoritative thing to do. And I was always really scared to make that claim, like, oh, what if she's thinking about another guy, or what if I'm on her? Forget about that shit, guys, okay? What you need to know is that the more you can, it's yours. The more you can make her seem like she's yours and you're hers, the better the sex is going to be, because that creates very, very strong emotions. Mm-hmm. So you could start out saying something authoritative, like very mild. You're not going to get rejected. Saying something like, "Hey, baby, whose pussy is this?" Okay, and she's going to say exactly. She's going to be like, "It's yours." And you can say something like, "What can I do with it?" And she's going to say, "I can do whatever."
You can do whatever you want.
Exactly. So you could start off, like, what do you think like the easiest intro line for a guy would be to start off?
So whose pussy is this?
The one we just threw out.
And
You
she's
could
gonna
just,
be like, it's yours.
exactly.
Can I do anything I want to it? It's yours. You can do whatever you want. And then and it just kind of leads up to different things. And he could try different new things, like I was saying, anything he wants, because she said it's his. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and you don't have to get crazy. We're just trying to work authority into your sexual equation here. So you need to be authoritative, as we know. This is the second variable. But put in there that this is your, exactly. This is your pussy. This is, or if you don't want to start there, even, you know, your mine, baby. Okay? Just more general. Not her pussy is yours, but she's yours. You can just be like, you're mine.
Yeah, they're probably, if you're married, I would say she's yours, because that pussy's mine sounds kind of like you only want to fuck her.
Yeah, so just be like, you're mine. It can be a little romantic, and it's really mainstream. And at the same time,
it means your pussy.
Everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah.
But let's go into the subject of like light pain. So by pain, I don't mean like tying your girl up and beating her with paddles and stringing her in all sorts of
like
different.
Like biting her and like spanking her.
Yeah, so let's get into like a little bit of spanking and biting.
Okay, I like them.
Okay, most women, you can't sit down at like dinner. You know, you're sitting there at the dinner table like, so how do you feel about light pain tonight? Don't don't talk about any of this stuff outside the bedroom, okay? But what you can do for sure is there's all these different easy ways where she has the sensation of light pain. There doesn't have to actually be any pain, but she has the emotions of if there is pain. So like one way would be like you could really aggressively like pull on her panties. Like that would be like really the sensation of being taken, of authority, of of pain. So you can pull down her panties. That's one way. The other way could be like, okay, so you start hooking up and you kind of throw her down onto the bed.
Yeah.
Like this primal instinct, this desire. You could push her up against a door, and you're not pushing her up against the door like really hard, like slam her up against the door, but you're just like making it known that you're exactly, you're the man and you're in charge.
Yeah.
Exactly. So those are three ways right there that you can show, that you're in charge and use light pain. Another would be when you get into doggy style, you could slap her ass. Does slapping her ass go over well?
Yes, if you don't, okay, the things with guys, you guys, don't keep slapping it in the same spot, because that hurts, and girls get pissed off. I get pissed off. I know I do, and I know a lot of girls that do. You kind of just, don't do it like you're hitting her to hurt her. Do it like playfully, like nice. And if she says, yeah, harder, then do it harder. That's the way. If she says, yes, I like this, do it more, do it harder, then do it. If she says, ow, and she sounds like it hurts really bad and she doesn't like it, then don't do it. And that means you're stepping the boundaries of the...
Would you say most girls are into a light little slap?
A light little slap, like...
Because what's going on is that this light little slap means so much more to the woman than the actual physical sensation of the pain. It's the emotion of he's in charge and he just slapped my ass and he likes it and he loves my ass, he's really into it, he thinks I'm hot. So you're getting a lot of bang for the buck by slapping her ass a little bit light. So those are some of the ways that you can add in authority. So authority is all about being a fucking man. This is a time to step up and just be a man. This is the second variable in the PAVE system.
Yeah.
So what would you say to guys who are scared of being the man in bed?
Wait, what?
It's okay. Authority. What would you say to guys who are afraid of being the man in bed?
Just try new things. I would just try it with your girl or your wife or whoever and just see how it goes over. I mean, I would just take risk and see, she might be a total freak in bed and you have no idea. You just haven't tried it. She thinks that you're not so dominant. She wants the dominant man though, but she's not showing it.
Would never say it.
No, she would never say it, but she wants it. She has wet fantasies about it, but she would never ever say it because then she'll feel dirty and slutty and she doesn't think that you're into it. So just take a risk and try it.
So even for a dude that says like, hey, my wife or my girlfriend isn't into this, or if they're single, like girls
aren't. How do you know? Have you tried? Have you went all the approaches to get her to be like that?
Would you agree that most women actually like sex?
Yeah. I think 100%.
And they like sex more than anything.
Yeah.
Guys, don't be afraid to be authoritative. Let's move into the third component of the PAVE system. The third component is variety.
Oh, this is important.
And I got into variety because once I could last in bed for a while, pretty much as long as I wanted, I was like, all right, so what this girl wants, any girl, is I'm just going to get on top of her and I'm just going to pound her for as long as I can. I'm just going to not say anything, just be on top of her and just keep moving and thrusting until she has a lot of orgasms. And it didn't go as well as I thought because it was just like, there was no emotion and there was no variety to what was going on. Not only was there no variety, but it's really important to differentiate when I say no variety, meaning there was no variety in either of the two important ways. The first way is that there was no physical variety. So I wasn't changing up angles and giving her different stimulation. Like if you're having sex with a girl doggy style, it's hitting her differently than if you're on top of her with her legs on your shoulders. And that's like physically a different sensation inside of her. But more importantly, way more importantly, is that there's no emotional variety.
No.
That you're not different types of lovers. So it's not about changing your dick size. It's not about all this different physical stuff that you can do. Like physical variety is definitely necessary, but it's more necessary than physical variety because it changes the emotions that she's having. When a woman is like on top of you and riding you, it's not that your dick is like hitting her so different than in another position. It definitely is hitting her differently. It's that all of a sudden there's this whole new wave of emotion.
Yeah.
I'm taking over this guy.
Yeah.
And like doggy style, like the feelings emotionally are so different doggy style than, a guy on top of you like being really romantic, like baby, I love you so much. Like that's so different.
No, I think the whole thing with variety is you should try like role playing, maybe different roles.
Just anything that gives you more emotion, right?
Yeah, because role playing, I would say a lot of people don't try it because I think it's weird, but actually it's really, really fun. Role playing, it's a really good idea. And when you're having sex, if you last, just say half an hour, you don't have to try like 50 positions because it's way, it's like an explosion of like way too much going on. Try 2 positions, try like missionary and like cowgirl or doggy style or anything. Just mix it up every time you have sex, do something different. Don't do the same exact thing. Don't like, as soon as you're done eating dinner, go upstairs and have sex. Before you eat dinner, have sex. Just in the shower, have
being
sex.
Spontaneous. We're going to get to being spontaneous. That's a good point, but we're going to get to being spontaneous. But not yet. In missionary position, guys, and if you're not taking notes on this, take some notes. This stuff's real important.
You can do a million things in missionary.
Exactly. Like, you could be the bad boy in missionary. Like, you could be on top of a missionary, like, do you like this? Am I yours? Are you mine? Like, we're talking really dirty. Or you could be really emotional, like, baby, I love you so much, or I'm so into you, I love how you make me feel. You could narrate an entire fantasy in missionary. You could have sex, missionary position, 100 different ways.
Yeah.
And you don't need to change positions all that much. It definitely helps every now and then. But you don't need to, you need to change the variety of the emotions that she's feeling. Because it's those emotions, and we're going to talk about emotion in the PAVE system, E is emotion. We're going to talk about that as to what exactly is, going down. So you need to know that it's the variety of the sensation and the emotions that she's getting, not just physical sensation, okay? Because you could last 45 minutes and switch positions 20 times. Do you think the average girl's going to have an orgasm? Probably not. But if you're like narrating stuff into her ear and all of a sudden you're a bad boy and then you switch.
That makes girls come so quick.
There you go. And like when women sit there, okay, like, so let's say you're sitting there with like a sex toy, right?
Yeah.
So.
I can explain. I can tell you a story right now. If I'm using a sex toy just in my room by myself, it maybe takes me 10 minutes to get off. But if my guy is laying right beside me, talking shit in my ear, touching my tits, and just, being like a bad boy, I'll come in like 2 minutes. It makes everything exciting. It's really awesome. I would try that.
So how much more important is it to have like the emotion?
It's 100%. It's like the main reason like girls can get off. Girls need emotion to come. Guys just need their hand or, girls need emotion.
Because you're looking at a girl and you're like, oh wow, she's a great girl and she's a great ass and she's great tits and she's really pretty and oh my god, she looked unbelievable, naked in front of me. Women aren't thinking that. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't really matter. Being in good shape is better than being out of shape, but it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
Being funny and charming, it's nice in seducing women, but as far as actual sex, what really matters? Being good in bed.
Being good in bed.
It's its own skill set, and any guy can have that. Dick size?
Not that important. As long as you know how to use it.
It's not.
No, if you have a really, really big cock, some women don't like that. If you have a small cock, I think smaller cocks work the best. I really do. That's my own opinion. I mean, take a survey. I'm pretty sure it's smaller sizes that actually hit spots, and guys that last longer are always the one that keep the girls.
Yeah. So your dick size doesn't really matter. You know, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about penis enlargement. Worry about learning sexual skills. Okay? We're going to keep going with variety. And one of the other things about variety is being spontaneous. You know, when sex gets on a schedule, like we eat dinner, then we go upstairs and we have sex.
I've had that relationship before.
And how does that go down?
Sucked. Sucked. It was no good. I was done. I was like.
What do you feel about a guy like initiating sex? Like, what do you think about being like, okay, you know, do you want to have sex as opposed to him just coming over and
No, I just like, he has to just come over and do it. Like, I'm like, I don't know. What could I be doing? Getting a shower. He just comes in and we just have sex. That's awesome. If I'm like, I don't know.
So are you saying that he shouldn't be like asking? Or?
No, he should never ask. Just do it. Like, just do it. Like, check mark. Just do it.
This is a real good, this is authority and variety, guys. So you want to make sure that you just get in there and you're spontaneous. You're not always having sex at the same time.
No, and not in the same spot. Like, try to, if you always have sex in your bedroom, try it in the living room on a chair. Try it in the kitchen. I know that sounds dirty, but try it in the kitchen.
Dirty is good.
Dirty is good. Try it outside. Try it in the pool. Just try it everywhere you possibly can.
Where would someone start? Because it's kind of intimidating to be like, okay, I'm going to walk into the middle of the town and have sex in the town.
Try it in your living room on a chair. And I think it's one of the best ways to have sex.
Perfect. That's really simple. You're not going to get rejected.
The girl's on top and she's fucking you, and it's awesome for the guy and it's awesome for the girl. And it's different because it's not in the bed. The bedroom is just so overrated for sex. That's no good. I try it.
What's happening, guys, is in the bedroom, there's so much subconscious association with sleeping that you go in there and you think, like, I'm going into the bedroom to go to sleep. And when you start having sex outside the bedroom, then it's really created as to like, okay, this is an area where I can have sex. The bedroom, it's for sleeping. And if you're always like in the habit of like watching TV in bed, you gotta stop that because that sends the message that the TV is for sleeping and for watching TV. You wanna make your bedroom actually as small as possible, take out as many distractions as you can, and make it so that your bedroom is just for sex. When I really nailed this was when I started getting a little bit crazy. And what I did was I took my apartment and I had 2 huge bedrooms. I was living in a 2-bedroom at the time. And I said, all right, you know what? I'm in this 1 master bedroom and I have a huge bedroom and I have, you know, this big bathroom in it. And I had my TV and I had all these kind of armoires and I had all this distraction. I had video games. I had all sorts of shit in there. You could come in there and it was like a fucking funhouse. You could play around for 2 hours. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So what I did was I was like, I'm going to try something out. You know, my sexual skills are getting good. I want to try something. So I actually moved all my shit out of that bedroom. And I took the other bedroom. It was tiny. It was like the size of a closet. It didn't even have a closet. I painted all the walls purple. In the ceiling, I painted everything purple. And there were no windows in this room. It was like a cave, literally like a cave.
And it was like the best sex you've ever had.
It was the best sex of my life. There was nothing to do in there. A woman would come in, and I had a few girlfriends at the time and a few one-night stands here and there. You know, it went down like that. But women would come in, and they would know right away
what was going on
that this bedroom was for sex. And it wasn't like when I was in a relationship, a girl would sleep over, my girlfriend, and we would immediately have way more sex in the bedroom because there was nothing else to do. The logistics were there. You know, it was like, we're going into this room and we're going to have sex.
Yeah.
So that's one tip. You know, just make sure that your physical location is set up for, you know, for sex. So we've kind of hit variety. Again, each of these are their own kind of seminar and lecture to teach you exactly what's going on and go real in detail, because a lot of guys like recognize in each of these components, you know, presence, authority, variety, and now emotion, that one of them is like really majorly lacking. So you can get more help on each of them And there's also demonstrations on how to do everything. But this is a core training, so you have an overview. You really need, you can't build a house with a weak foundation. You can't, have a stool standing on 3 legs. You've got to have, all of these different foundations to build your knowledge upon. Yeah, exactly. So let's get into the last variable, and this is actually my favorite, because myself included and a lot of other guys are like, I don't want to always be a bad boy. I like the girl that I'm with. I'm not an asshole. I'm not a jerk. I'm not a bad boy. And I know exactly how that is. I'm actually, kind of from a nerdy background myself as a business consultant. So I know how it is to be like, okay, I'm not out there as, an MMA fighter. I'm not, this wild and crazy reckless dude. But I need to act like that sometimes, but that's not for good sex. But that's not really me. Like, I'm kind of an emotional guy, and I really like this girl. This girl is the one for me. Yeah. So, this entire variable, we've gone through the PAVE system. We went through presence, authority, variety, and now we're at emotion. Emotion is the key to great sex. Yeah. Because if she's not feeling strong emotions and you're not feeling strong emotions,
there's no connection.
Game over.
Yeah.
When a woman sits there, and I always give these analogies about women masturbating, and when a woman sits there with like a vibrator or a dildo, would you say she's narrating a physical fantasy or an emotional fantasy?
More emotional.
Exactly. And when you buy women buy tons of these books like Nora Roberts and Danielle Steele, and you see like this ridiculously jacked dude with like long hair, is really good looking, like Fabio or some shit, and he's on this horse through the beach and they're riding and they're going for fresh seafood. It's crazy. It's all this, like, have you ever read it? It doesn't even make sense. Like this shit, like you'd read this and you'd be like, oh my god, this isn't even a book. You'd be like, this is total shit. Women eat this stuff up. And they eat it up for one reason. Because it doesn't have to make sense, guys. It doesn't have to make sense. As long as it's emotional, it's like a trick that, again, it comes in under the radar. And the fact that it's so emotional really turns them on and gives them a lot of orgasms. It's not about the baseball bat-sized cock. No, it's about the emotion. So, emotion is the key to good sex. And the same point, the next kind of like expanding on it, is that the stronger the emotions, the better, okay? So the more emotional you are, the better. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to be emotional, but when you're emotional and you create strong emotions in a woman, that's when the sex is the best, and most importantly, that's when the relationship is the best. Because if it's just the detachable penis, emotionless robot,
we can go buy that at the store.
It's at the store, and any guy can do that. Yeah. Emotion creates the connection. That creates, like, I've had women tell me, okay, girlfriends, and this has happened a few times, at least 4 or 5 times now, where the first time it happened, I was like, this is a little strange, like, this is kind of creepy, what's going on? Where I'll have sex with my girlfriend. It doesn't really happen if you have like a one-night stand or something, the sex isn't as good, so we really recommend that you're in a relationship. Whether it's an open relationship or a single committed relationship, whatever it is, or married, but in a relationship, the sex is, for the most part, usually much better. Yeah. But I will, have sex with my girlfriend, and literally 20 minutes later, I'll get a text or a phone call being like, hey baby, I miss you so much. And this happens because the sex was so emotional, okay? It's not because I'm the biggest dude in the world or I have a huge cock. I'm not that big. And I don't have a huge cock, but I create such strong emotions that the sensation of longing and the sensation of, wanting to be with me, that's something that...
It's really important.
It's
super important.
It's really important. And it's not like I'm narrating these amazing fantasies that no other guys can do. We give you the scripts that I've used and that guys that have gone through our live training, one-to-one coaching, and most importantly our phone coaching, like on the phone, have gone through. And you can use these scripts. Like if it says like Cynthia in a script and a dude used it and your girl's name's not Cynthia, okay, don't put in the name Cynthia because you're going to have a major disconnect. I've done that before. I looked like the worst, biggest asshole ever because I wanted to learn this stuff, but I couldn't learn it myself. So I needed... the script, so I read off the script and I learned it, and then I went to use it, and I put in the wrong name. Don't ever do that.
Yeah, that's bad news.
It wrecks all emotion. Yeah. So to get to the point again, stronger the emotions, better. So whether the emotion is like being a bad boy, you don't want to be like kind of a bad boy, like I'm kind of bad right now. No, you want to be like really bad. All right.
You want to be a bad boy, and then sometimes you don't want to be a bad boy.
If you want to be romantic, okay. This is an example, and you're romantic. Like if I'm like, okay, Jessica, like. I kind of like you.
That's so bad.
All
I'd
right.
be like, slap, I'm not having sex with you.
Exactly, but if I'm like, okay, baby, like, I really love you so much.
That's awesome.
All right, so you want to carry it to the extreme, and when you start the extreme,
Well, no, don't tell. Okay, this is a bad mistake. If you're in a relationship with someone, they haven't been dating very long, and you feel like you love them, but you haven't told them yet.
I love you is a different story. Let's
Yeah.
talk about like mainstream.
Yeah.
That's a good point. But
Don't
let's
do
stay,
that because that's very, very weird.
guys. And when there's no women around and Jessica's out of here,
Yeah.
I'm going to share with you when you should actually say I love you, and it's not what you think. You actually want the
Do I
woman
even
to
know
say
this?
that first. I haven't shared this
I
secret.
think all my guys tell me they love me first.
That's a woman's way of getting you into this like
Getting you
new
into the-
relationship.
the-
Yeah,
the
under
box.
the
To the
gun
box.
here. But I'll tell you the exact way when you want to start saying I love you. We're gonna get into that when
I
there's
wanna
no
know.
women around.
I want to know.
No, this isn't for you. This is just for
Why?
guys. No, this is just for guys. We can't give away.
I need to know this.
No way.
Are you really not going to tell me?
No, I'm not gonna tell you.
Are you serious?
No, this is a guy thing. We can't reveal these secrets.
Shut up.
So, emotion. All right. You've got to be verbal in bed. This is the next thing with emotion. If you're not verbal in bed, and I don't mean by being verbal, being like, so, did you make dinner for tomorrow night? That's being verbal,
Yeah.
but it's not being emotional.
Yeah, and you don't want to talk about being verbal with someone does not mean talking about, like what he said, making dinner, did you get that new dress? Like, sex needs to be all about sex, because I've seen some people have sex that talk about random things when you should be talking about dirty things or
Emotional thing,
yeah,
romantic things.
yeah. You should not be talking about
Look, emotions-
making dinner or drinking. or
Exactly. Emotions
going out the
fall
next
into
day.
like two main categories. They fall into romance or dirty.
Yeah.
Like dirtiness,
Yeah.
like either being dirty and authoritative or emotional. And you can combine them. And we get into some really hardcore training programs where we teach you how to combine dirty talk and emotional talk, because that's like the ultimate
Yeah.
in emotion, because all of a sudden you're romantic and you're the bad boy at the same time, and it's like, what's going on? And the woman just goes fucking nuts. But for right now, the thing about being emotional is that when you're verbal, and you have to be verbal, that you're actually saying things that you mean.
Yeah.
You know,
You have to actually mean that.
talking about sexual things, not talking about did you take the trash out, did you
Did you
get,
take the
you know,
trash out?
how's
Did we
work
have
going?
sex, you know,
Exactly. So you want to talk about the stuff that is actually
happening?
exactly related to the sex.
Yeah.
For romantic talk, the main things to talk about are how much she likes you. Baby, I can tell you love me. Okay? How much you like her. Baby, I really love you. Or you could talk about how much you want her if you want to be more on the dirty side. Baby, I really love being inside you. That's a really,
Oh yeah, that's a good. That's a
You know,
good. Oh,
really-
that's a good one.
really good way, really low risk. No one's going to get rejected. Or you can say like, how much do you like me inside you? Okay? So those are, you have the emotional side of, you know, the romantic nice talk, and you have the dirtier talk. And this is all explained. You have this all in, you know, in guidelines as well, and outlines. So there's no guessing. It's really step by step. But that's the next part of being emotional. We're going to stay on emotional because it's
The big one.
big. It's important. How do you feel about teasing? Like emotional, like light teasing?
I feel pretty good. I mean, teasing, you have to be able to, like, more seducing. Like,
So, okay, wait, let me clarify a little bit.
yeah,
So by teasing, I mean like,
showing my underwear.
no, I don't mean like physical teasing. I mean like emotional teasing,
Like
being
teasing
like,
them, like, I don't like you. I
no,
don't like
no, not like that at all. Being like, right when you start having sex, being like, hey baby, I really want you, but I don't know if we should do this right now. Like that line where it's kind of like, almost like you're taking it away a little bit, like,
It makes them want it more.
exactly.
It makes the men want it more.
It makes the guy want it more, and it makes the girl want it more too. So light teasing, and we give you specific lines, and I want to make it a system where you can say things like, you know, baby, I don't know, like and this doesn't even make sense, but it makes sense to her in the moment, like, you know, yeah, I really want to be inside you right now, but I don't know if you can handle it.
That's good.
Okay, like you can throw that out there, and all of a sudden it short circuits her brain, and she's
And she's like, I want it now.
like, oh my God, I really want it now, and gets really turned on. So that's like a real good example, and I would definitely say that as the starting guide. You know, baby, I don't know if you can handle this right now, or if you don't say, baby, you're not at that step, I don't know if you can handle this right now. It doesn't. Don't worry about the tonality. Just don't be like choppy, but just be, I don't know if you can handle this right now. And that's that's a really solid
really,
line.
It is. It's
Solid. It's really solid because it reaffirms that she wants you. It reaffirms that you want her, and most of all, it reaffirms that you care about her and you cause such strong emotions that you don't know if she can actually handle it.
Yeah.
Okay? Now we're going to get into the next part of being emotional, which is how a man can be emotional and still be a man.
Yeah.
Because if you're emotional as a guy, you don't want to be like
pussy.
So yeah, exactly. You don't want to be like soft emotional. You want to be like manly emotional. So there's a way to stay authoritative while being emotional, and that way is to kind of cage your emotions under the fact of like you're also making her feel emotional. It's not just like, baby, I love you.
Guys get emotional, girls get emotional. It's just the way it is.
Exactly.
It's like when someone dies in a movie, girls cry.
So there you go. So don't cry. But okay, if you're going to be emotional and you're gonna say something emotional like, baby, I love you so much, you want to wait, like even like stop like thrusting and stop having sex with her for a minute until she says the same thing back. So what you want to do is, this is how a man can be emotional. You want to make sure that for everything emotional that you say, that she's giving you the response, so that you're both emotional together. Not you being emotional, waiting for her to be emotional, that you're emotional together. So you're saying something emotional, she responds. So an example of that would be like, baby, I love you so much, and then wait for her to respond. If she doesn't, then, you know, kind of, what's that?
Stop having sex.
Yeah, exactly. Like stay inside of her, but you don't have to like keep going like really fast. Just be like, baby, are you into me or something like that, and wait for her to respond. So make sure that for everything that you say, that she's matching it, so that it's kind of a 50-50 thing. And another important way that you can be really emotional in bed, because being emotional in bed is not a bad thing at all. It's bad when you lose authority in your girl's eyes. And so one of the ways that you can maintain authority is by being authoritative outside the bedroom. And if occasionally you're very emotionally vulnerable in the bedroom, that's okay. Like if you're leading and, you know, say you guys are going out for a dinner and you think, okay, you know, for this dinner, I want to eat Italian food. Don't ask her, be like, hey, baby, do you want to go eat Chinese food tonight? When you wanted Italian food. Be a man, lead the interaction, and set stuff up. Like really be authoritative. You don't have to be like really aggressively authoritative. The way that I like to do it is by being kind of like casually authoritative. Like, okay, baby, so tonight we're gonna go have a great time at the Italian restaurant down the street. And if it's kind of caged like that, then all of a sudden you're not being aggressive, you're not being a jerk, you're being an authoritative and a leading man. You're being a man. So don't worry about being too emotional in the bedroom. Make sure she's meeting you. That was the kind of the last thing. But also just maintain authority outside the bedroom, and you don't really have to worry about it. So now we're going to move into the next part of being emotional. And the next part of being emotional is romantic talk. And this is a program all of its own. You know, being romantic is not something that you need to be ashamed of. Like if you're just meeting a girl and you're having sex for the first time, you probably don't want that much romantic talk.
No.
You want to just make sure that you hit the core variables, last a long time, and give her an orgasm. But once you're in a relationship, you want to make sure that there's a large element of romantic talk. And we talked about this, how when you're verbal, there's two ways you can be verbal, either dirty talk or emotional, or you can combine them. So emotional talk is saying things like, baby, I love being inside you, or baby, do you love when I'm inside you, or I really care about you, or you mean so much to me. Write these down. These are simple things that you can copy. It's not like I made them up and no one's ever done them before. Like this is stuff that works, guys. People have done it in tons of the takeaways from the seminars. You know, actually just copied the lines, because women are women. And yes, each one is really, really special and different, but just like they're all special and different, there's certain things that the majority of women respond to, you know, certain emotions that they feel and that they respond to. So you could use any of those emotions and you can refer to them, you know, we have them, write them down, and you can just copy them and just say that, and it's going to work for you. She's going to get emotional, you're going to get emotional yourself. And that brings me into one of the last points of being emotional, and that's kind of in our core training here as to how to be emotional, is that if you don't actually like the girl, you're not going to be emotional. And I know that this is like a tough pill for a lot of dudes to swallow, especially like the younger guys. They're like, oh my God, I just want to have sex with like every girl, and it's like this big ego thing. And I went through that stage, and I had sex with a fair amount of girls. Did I have sex with hundreds of girls? No, definitely not. But I learned that sex with the same person over and over is way better than just a series of one-night stands.
Yeah.
Because when you bring emotion into the picture and you really care about the girl, it's a lot better sex. And for guys, like a lot of guys that get into this stuff, there's this whole like conquest attitude. Like, there's a really hot girl, I'm gonna go hit on her, and I'm gonna make her mine, I'm gonna have sex with her. And it's all really like ego-based.
Yeah.
And what happens is that the sex isn't that good. You kind of get thinking like, oh my God, this is like as good as sex as I'm gonna get. But if you're saying things to get her into bed and trying to give her a good sexual experience that you don't really mean, you're not really being emotional yourself. You're just spouting off some lines. And anytime you're spouting off some lines, what does it look like? You're spouting off some lines.
No, but the one thing I do notice from a lot of guys, because I'm a lot of friends with a lot of guys, and they're always saying she wasn't good in bed, she wasn't good in bed. Like, well, I mean, how many times did you have sex with her? Did you know what I mean? Like, they just, maybe they're bad in bed, and she didn't respond to how bad, you know? Like, I don't like that. They're like, she's not good in bed. She is not good in bed. Like, I heard this yesterday. She wasn't good in bed.
Would you say that, like most guys, the best sex that you'll have with a woman, for the woman and the guy, is definitely after you've been having sex for a while?
Yes, definitely.
How many times would you say it would take like an average guy or girl before the sex is like really, really good?
I would say like 3 months.
Guys, that's 3 months. So don't think you're gonna go out there and
Because things are so awkward in the beginning of a relationship. You don't know what is right and what is wrong and what that person likes. Because if you pay attention, a lot of guys don't pay attention.
like first
And
few
they even
times.
admit that they don't pay attention to girls, and you notice, like,
First few times is a girl self-conscious.
yeah. So is the guy. It's awkward.
Exactly. Like the first few times you're having sex, you're gonna be self-conscious, and she's gonna be really self-conscious. So what you've got to do is make sure that
You're both comfortable.
you're both comfortable, and the best emotion and being emotional yourself is after a length of time. So if you want to go out and have a lot of one-night stands, you'll have the sexual confidence and the sexual inner game to be able to do that and rock any woman's world. But keep in mind that the better sex is going to be after you've had sex a bunch of times, because once you've had a lot of shared experiences and you've done a lot of stuff together, both in the bedroom and out, the emotion is so much stronger. And emotion is what connects people together. It's not, a lot of guys think like, oh my God, we like the same movies, we like the same food. It doesn't really matter at all. Like, we like the same music. Like, that stuff's like, okay, yeah, we kind of have a similar vibe. But real emotional connection is with shared experiences. So shared sexual experiences that are emotional and emotional things outside the bedroom, that's what make it, better. But they're like the best sex. Guys, this is the wrap up for the paved system. You learned, well, let's have Jessica tell you, but what did you get? What did the guys learn?
Presence, authority, variety, and emotion. Pave.
Perfect. The paved system. Real easy. 4 components. If you need help with any of the others, we can give you specific training on each of the 4 variables. But now you have a core overview as to what you're going to do, a system, a step-by-step guide. So get out there and practice, because you got to implement this stuff, guys. The only way to learn it is by actually doing it. So we'll see you in the next video where there's some real demonstrations. There's no demonstrations with me. It's good for everyone. I'm staying fully clothed and just going to provide what I learned. But Jessica and her friends are going to show you exactly what dirty talk is, exactly what emotional talk is, exactly what being authoritative is. And guys, I got to warn you, if you don't like naked girls, this probably is not for you, because this is some really awesome stuff. But if it's not your cup of tea, fine. But if it is, you're going to really love this sex advice. No more to say about that. We'll see you in the demonstrations.